Hey everybody, it's Naturally Kiwi here. Today we're doing something a little bit different, and we are playing the Pokemon trading card game. With the newest release of the newest set, one of my favorite decks to play, Snorlax Stall, was kind of nerfed just because Peturant EX has been running around, which basically kind of like shuts down Snorlax Stall if you're playing against it. Well, specifically if you're using a dark type deck against Snorlax Stall. So I started experimenting with other decks, and this is kind of what I came up with. The deck is built around this card, Kingambit. It's a stage 2, but for 1 energy, it will instantly knock out any Pokemon that has 4 damage counters or more on it. And the way we get that damage on there is just like a couple different ways. We have a couple different cards that can do it. First off, we have the Froslass, which will put damage counters on every single Pokemon with an ability. We have Iron Valiant EX, which will put 2 damage on whatever's in the active spot when it swaps in. And then we have Radiant Alakazam to move damage around on our opponent's side of the field. And then we have Monkey Dory to move damage from our side of the field to our opponent's side of the field. And then we're also rocking that Pidgeot EX just for a little bit extra draw power. Trainer card wise, a lot of it is just going to be draw power. We do have a couple switches just in case we're having to use that Iron Valiant to do damage counters. Buddy Poffin, Arvin to draw item cards. This is for our Iron Valiant to give it a 0 retreat cost. Professor's Research, draw power, rare candy, so we can skip that stage 2 of. So right now with this deck, I've been kind of going mostly 50-50 right now. Because I'm still fine-tuning that deck, because I found many times where I've ended up stalling out and I'm just not able to get the cards I need. So I keep adding more draw power to hopefully get those cards that I need. No, we're not going to go first. Being able to play supporters on our first turn is probably going to be more useful than going first. It's only when we get a very specific hand is that going first good. That being said, we actually did get a pretty decent hand, honestly. Oh, wow. Unfortunately, though, we did not get a very good matchup. The Chien Power deck is one of the worst matchups for this deck I found from playing. So I think we'll go for the Nest Ball. And I think we will put Iron Valiant on our bench. And then we'll go for Buddy Poffin. And we'll grab a Pidgey and I think another Snorunt to get those on our bench. I am gonna put a Dark Energy on the Snorunt because we're probably gonna retreat it. Okay, this is a pretty good hand, I would say, honestly. Yeah, I think for now we'll just retreat the Snorunt. Get the Iron Valiant in the front spot, get some damage counters going. And then I think next turn we should be good to get our Kingambit onto the field, but we're not going to have enough damage counters. It might be more worth it just to focus on getting our Froslass onto the field first. Okay, I believe that means we can no longer retrieve that Pokemon, so unless we get a switch card, that guy's stuck. I'm honestly kind of tempted to go for Iono again. Just because there's a lot of cards we need. It's definitely like high risk, but I'm honestly I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna go for Iono. Yeah, it didn't overly pay off, if I'm being completely honest. Let's switch Iron Valiant out. And then we can retreat this since we have Beach Court out. We can put this back out. Now we have 40 damage counters on that. So now if we can get the Kingambit going, it is within our KO range. Well, that's not good. That is a little unfortunate, but if we can get our Frostlass going, that's just more damage we're going to be able to spread onto their side of the field. That being said, we are going to lose our Iron Valiant here. In a minute. So when they eventually kill off the Iron Valiant, I'm thinking we'll put one of our Snow Run into the front. I think we're just going to have to go for another Iono at this point, unfortunately. Unless we draw... Can we please draw raw candy? I can't even speak. Oh. Rare candy. I don't know why I couldn't say rare candy. Raw candy? No, it's rare candy. Jeez. Okay, well, we finally got one of our Frostlass at the very least. I'll hold off on Ultra Balling for now. Unfortunately, not a ton I can do. That being said, I would rather save the Snow Runt. I'm going to I can't speak. I'm going to sack the Monkey Dory just because I don't have... It doesn't look like I'm really going to be getting damage on my side of the field. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not looking too good for us, kids. If we can draw the raw... God, raw. I keep saying raw. If we can draw the rare candy, we'll be in a pretty good spot, but we're just not drawing it. We got one at the very beginning of the game, but now it's at the bottom of my deck. Okay, that just seems a little excessive. Yeah, at this point, he's pretty much just set up to kill everything I have left. Yeah, even if I do get the rare candy, Well, that's something. It's not useful, but it's something. I think for now all we can do is just boss's orders that thing away. We'll put back Excalibur in the front. At this point, we're just stalling for time. I do genuinely believe that the Kingambit deck can work. I just feel like it's missing something, but I don't know what that thing is yet. On the bright side, though, if we get that rare candy, we can actually knock something out. But we did not. We did not get the rare candy, unfortunately. That one hurts. I'm not even going to lie. That one kind of hurt a little bit. Because we're actually in a really good spot right now in terms of like damage on their side of the field. But we're not drawing the cards we need. If we can just, unfortunately, I think 3 of our Arvins are at the bottom of our deck. If we could just draw like a Professor's Research, we could be in a pretty good spot. Professor's Research or Rare Candy. Oh hey, I finally said it right. What's it gonna be? Oh, come on, man. Well, I guess we could start spreading around some damage a little bit at the very least. And I guess we can get another Pawn Art going. Won't hurt. We have Ultra Ball, so we can get the Kingambit. We just need the rare candy first. Unfortunately, I think we're gonna end up killing our own Alakazam. That being said, I did just have a thought though. It might not be a terrible idea to include 1 or 2 Snorlax in this deck. Since this deck relies so much on setup, having Snorlax in the front could actually come really in handy. Especially against fighting decks like Qian Pao. If you could keep Qian Pao out of the active spot, that could actually be really helpful. I'm going to have to add that in the next iteration of this deck. Unfortunate, they finally drew their switch card. To be honest, we don't overly need both Frostlass anymore, so this isn't the worst thing in the world. But them getting their Qian Pao out and being able to get another KO does probably put us in a losing spot now. In retrospect, when I went for the Iono instead of the Arvin, that was probably the biggest misplay I could have done. Come on, rare candy, please, 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 please. That works too. That works too. We can get the rare candy because we already have Ultra Ball, and we'll just get this so we have another thing to discard. Ultra Ball, go! It is, unfortunately, if this was earlier in the game, I would actually probably go for the Pidgeot. But because we're so late into the game, we have to go for the Kingambit. On the bright side, though, now we can finally start taking some KOs. That being said, let's save some of that damage though before we kill this thing. Put him on the Pidgeot, or the Pidgey. It's not a Pidgeot yet. And behold, the glorious one-hit kill. Well, at the very least, we didn't get 6-0'd. We did draw at least some prize cards. And one of those Professor's Research, so that's actually pretty good. That being said, if we could draw Boss's Orders on the next turn, that would be absolutely golden. Assuming our Kingambit doesn't die. Wow, that's kind of interesting. He just willingly sacked both a Pidgeot and a Radiant Greninja. Oh, he got another Chien-Pao out. That's a little unfortunate because our own Beach Court's actually hurting us there because he's able to use it with the 0 retreat cost. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this is the end of us. We may have lost, but we can still at least try to take one more KO. I don't know how, though. Because we can't, unfortunately, we can't get the 40 damage on it. And we can't get the stuff we need to draw and do damage, unfortunately. Wow. This draw would have been fantastic earlier in the game. Unfortunately, I think all we can just do is concede at that point. I do hope, though, that you guys can like kind of see what I'm trying to go for with this deck. I do think Kingambit could be really fun if the deck is built correctly. So I do think this deck has a long way to go. I'm still like fine-tuning it. I'm working it out. If you have suggestions on how you think we can get this deck to work, please let me know down in the comments. I think Kingambit could be so funny, and I really want him to work. But until next time, this has been your favorite fruit, Kiwi. I'll see you later, my friends.